secondary school because my parents just couldn't afford to pay tuition at the time. So it was in that time that I discovered chess. So there was this barber shop, we used to go play video games, I think PS1 at the time. So I would just go there and watch them. So one of those days, he just brought out a small plastic chess set. And I'd never seen a chessboard before.
Yeah.
So I think the one thing I found fascinating was the way the pieces were carved. And I was just curious. I wanted to know what it was. And he would say, oh, chess. So I was like, chest? And I know, chess. So I would just watch. He wouldn't teach me because he thought I was too young. So I was able to pick up the rules of the game. And that was how I found the gift of chess.
What would you say you perfected? You as a person, what would you say you perfected? At what age was it? Was it when you gone back to SS1? At what age did you perfect it?
When did you become a pro?
Or just know how to play?
Yes, I mean, like, chess is a very complex game.
Yeah.
It could take a lifetime to master, but it's simple to learn the basic rules. So I was able to learn the rules when I was 10, 11, but I think the first time so I eventually got into school, right? And fortunately, the school I attended, we actually had like a chess program. Like we learned it as a subject. Like we wrote exams at the end of every term. Because beyond just being a board game, it's an important educational resource. Wow. So I remember, I think 2 years into secondary school, I won a trophy. So I participated in a tournament, and I remember beating this young Indian boy. So we had this school for expatriates that came, and for a kid from the slums that didn't really have a lot of exposure, I think that like changed me. Like it made me believe that, gave me the confidence to believe that I could become anything I wanted. So I got a trophy and I brought it back home, and the entire community was excited. And I think that was when, I started getting really good. But I mean, eventually I went pro and won a couple of tournaments. But that was the point where I got.
So you kept on playing?
Yeah, I did.
So now at what point, now you've been playing, let's say you're in university, you're still playing. At what point did you decide and say, you know what, I want to give back? Because it takes, sometimes when people leave, I wouldn't call it corridor slam like that, but like, when you leave a place like that, it usually takes a lot to go back there because sometimes it reminds you of something. So at what point did you decide and say, I want to go back and I want to give to people?
Just like you rightly said, in this joke about, people saying, oh, when I receive my salary, I will go back. And I think a lot more people, the understanding of giving back is, oh, when I become a millionaire, when I become a billionaire. And I mean, fair enough, that makes sense. But for me, it was more of an understanding that, I went to school on a partial scholarship. I went to college on a partial scholarship because I was good at chess, and it gave me access to a lot of things. So 5 years ago in 2018, it wasn't like I had any money. In fact, I was broke. I was really broke because I didn't have a job at the time. I just finished from school in 2015, and I tried to work a bit. I started my own thing. I taught chess in private schools to try and earn money, but I was earning very little. So in 2018, I had like an epiphany, right? I used to like play piano in church. So one of these days after school, after church service, my friends used to go somewhere to smoke. I don't smoke, by the way.
What?
But I have a lot of friends. So so they used to go to a place called Lungo to smoke. And so now they are insisted I wanted to go with them. I just wanted to hang. And it was in a community not too far from the slum where I grew up. It was another slum in that same corridor. And I just saw children smoking too, and it just occurred to me that a lot of these children would never get to know that there's a much larger world out there. Yeah. The idea of success would always be restricted to what they can see there. So those uncles that are smoking, and they would want to emulate that. So I just thought, since I was jobless and I had time, I could come and start teaching them chess, because what took me out of the community, even for the first time, was chess, a tournament. And I didn't know I was going to maybe put food on the table, because a lot of them were not in school. But I just thought it was something that I had that was a talent. But then if I could give it to them, it becomes their own gift, right? So I think if they could make meaning of that, it could change their lives, right? So I just called a couple of my friends. I had like 5 buds, and we started going there every Saturday and Sunday. And it just became a thing, right? I didn't have money to give them, but I was giving back a skill that I had, and they got really good at it. So that's how it all started.
I think I remember in 2019 there was a specific child that was doing chess that went on to become great. That's how, I think that's when I got to know you became quite viral with that. How did you discover that child?
So when we started the Chess and Slums project in Ikorodu, we decided I think it was 2021 actually, the major story, like the major viral story that happened. We went to another slum. It's called Makoko. It's the largest floating slum in the world, right? And so this was a bit more challenging because children here don't speak my own local language or English. They spoke a different dialect entirely, and a lot of the people that live there were like fishermen, and education was very undervalued, and we wanted to like expand that to children like that, to begin to help them learn to also be intellectually inclined, using chess as a tool. And when we got there, we selected about 100 kids. And if you know how Makoko looks like, it's a very terrible place. Like, it's a floating slum where people live on wooden stilts on black water, like sewage.
Dirty
it's really dirty. Yeah. So one of the kids there that we met, his name was Ferdinand. It was a kid living with cerebral palsy. And, he was a kid with a different struggle. And because of that, the other kids in the community would bully him and call him names, dummy and all of that. And he would always go home and cry. He couldn't speak, couldn't walk properly. And so he walked into our training center on that day. And the other kids were like, oh, uncle, chase him away. And I was like, no. So I asked for his name, he couldn't respond. And I just took him to class. And we started teaching him. And for a boy that couldn't speak or express himself, chess was his first language. And we realized that I was a gifted kid. In fact, it was a prodigy. And after training them for a while, we had a tournament, and we did something different on that tournament day because, in Africa, a lot of the way like the world perceives children in poverty, we tend to like demean them. Some will call it poverty porn or picture them at the worst. We wanted to do something differently, right? So we made 3-piece suits for all of them in that slum to compete on that day. And you can imagine children in the slums wearing 3-piece suits to play chess. It was a beautiful day. And Ferdinand wore a suit on that day, and they competed, and he won. He won the tournament, and I just shared that I wouldn't even call him a disabled child, but a differently able child that sees the world differently. And for him, chess was his one way to express himself, and he was damn good at it. And this boy beat everyone. I won the tournament, and the story went viral. And I got mails from people all over the world saying, "Oh, this kid inspired me. I have a mother, in Austria with a kid with special needs, and I want to teach him chess now. I want to teach him board games because." So it was just a beautiful story. Ferdinand is doing really well now. He got to meet the governor. He got to meet a lot of people, and he'll be traveling to Greece next month to represent Nigeria.
So now we're gonna play a little game with Katia and myself. It's called the Chess in Minutes. All right?
Okay.
You have 2 seconds to answer a question. You ready?
Bring it on.
Katia and I will share you. It's a beautiful threesome. All right. If you could play a game of chess with any historical figure, who would it be?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fail. Next.
Oh dear.
Kathy, go.
5, 4,
What do you have?
Come on.
3. Here's the question. Go.
I'm still asking. Can you play chess blindfolded?
Yes, I can.
You can?
Yes, against 3 people at the same time.
You did it
Simultaneously, I can.
Wow, incredible stuff. If you were a chess Olympic champion, what would be your go-to move when you're dancing and celebrating?
5, 4,
Like the night.
3, 2.
I suck. Okay.
Okay, let us quit.
All right, if you're a chess piece on the board, what chess piece are you?
The night,
The night.
Unique,
Okay, and lastly, I have a question. Like, do you ever get tired of playing chess, or like this?
Does it get tired of you?
Or like, because like
Sometimes.
every time you play, do you feel like there's a thrill, or like just normal game now?
Yeah, I mean, of course. Yes, but now I'm retired, so I'm more of a
At 28.
Yeah, I'm retired. I don't play competitive chess.
Have you
again.
seen The Queen of Katwe?
Yes, I have.
Right. What did you think?
2016.
Yeah.
Oh dear
What did
Lord.
you think of it?
The kind of movie where I went to the cinema to watch it, and at the end of it, like, people couldn't leave. We just stood there and we're like, wow. Because, yes, like, it made me feel validated. And this is why representation is important. You see someone that looks like you, and you know that you can also aspire to be like this person. And I think that was all the validation I needed, to follow through with the Chess and Slums project. Because I had always nurtured the idea, but seeing a true life story of it was just confirmation. And I was in Katwe yesterday. I got to see even where Fiona grew up, and it was a very special moment for me. So,
Seen the Queen's Gambit?
Oh, of course I have.
Obviously.
What would you say is up next for you now? Are you going to keep up with the?
Yeah.
Yes.
So for the Chess and Slums project, like now, we're going across Africa, in partnership with Gift of Chess, our partners in New York, to spread the gift of chess to 1 million children across Africa, right? We want to change the single story about Africa to help, use chess as a tool to help children in these places build intellectual capacity, right? Beyond like the benefits of chess and how it connects us, I think a more powerful way to think about what we're trying to do is to give them a new identity. Not just children in poverty, but children that have the ability to do something. Chess is just an expression of that. Right. So, but it's not the end. It could be a means to several ends. So that's vision, to take this to all slums in Africa, begin to nurture the talents and not just help them become chess champions, but help them reach their truest potential, right? Give them a new kind of education that will get them to think, to be able to solve problems, and the skills will stay with them for the rest of their lives.
You have one historical figure you really want to play chess with. Who that be? Like just one.
When you say history, I wanted to say Gary Kasparov, but I just realized I was a grandmaster. I think one person that I really, really admire would have been
You'd love to sit on the table.
Thomas Sankara.
That's my guy.
An African.
I can see the look actually.
I think it would be a really good chess player if he played. I don't know if he played, but
I know he played guitar.
He played the guitar. I played the guitar.
He was so
too,
brilliant
so
and ahead of his time.
Yes,
Thomas
he
Sankara,
was.
I think he played chess.
He would, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the guy who became president at 33. Well, you're like 28. The guy's like,
Right?
come on, incredible stuff.
Nothing.
There you go. Superstar.
That's why I can see
That's
the
my
look.
guy.
Yeah. All right, man. I mean, you guys have a brand new president loading. Are you excited? Speaking of presidents,
Interesting Ugandans and Nigerians have been fighting on Twitter recently, and you guys beat us hands down, and a lot of the memes came from this election period.
Yeah.
I would rather not talk about it, but I know that at the end of all of this, right, Nigeria will come out fine, right? And I believe, the change that we need might not necessarily come from like leadership at that presidential level. I think it's in every sphere, and I'm much more invested in people like directly influencing their own circle, right? I think that is the way we can really build something as a collective, because nobody's going to come save us. So it's entirely up to us in our different capacities to, do what we can, right, to help you.
So, just to close this off, I lived in Lagos for 8 years,
For real?
Yeah, so and I understand some Yoruba a little bit. A little bit.
she ran away. Too many data.
Really?
Yes, I stayed in Lagos actually. But I want you to leave us like with a statement in Yoruba that they can learn.
As we never did that way.
I'm thinking, should I drop something profound or just something funny or just something?
Can be something that we can use, like
that I can use. Okay. So in Yoruba, I'm a Yoruba boy, and you know what they say about Yoruba.
Oh yeah,
you're my guy.
Yeah.
My cousin's friends.
What did they say about Yoruba guys?
What did they say about Yoruba guys? Let's go.
No, that's just propaganda.
No, yes.
We're angels. Take care of our women.
Very good men.
Of course,
Yoruba men don't cheat.
They don't.
They don't cheat.
It's all just
In
propaganda. So, okay, maybe one thing in our Yoruba culture that we say I would have to translate it to English too, so you'd understand. T aba. Okay, but maybe not that one.
I'm all can help you.
I'm trying to understand first of all. I know T is the
Okay, let me just give a slang. Say kilo feshe.
kilo fish.
Kilo feshe.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do about it?
Officier.
Oh, kilo
Kilo
fish. What's
I'm just saying,
going
I'm
on?
not
What's
officier.
going on? Yeah.
Yeah.
Kilo fish, yeah.
So that
Kilo
you have to do
officier.
about it.
Absolutely nothing. I'm just gonna
Keke is
this year
Keke is going
and
to
checkmate.
That's high.
Yeah.
Kilo fish.
And that's our show. It's been amazing. Amal, KK, Mr. Dash, and of course the Mr.
Thank you for
himself,
having
me.
Tunde.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Good night. God bless. Catch you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Beat some balls. Kim, thank you.
Bro.
Thank you so much.